Thank you all for, sorry, I cut out for a second. Thank you all for joining us here today. We're super excited to have you here. A lot of great content planned. Joining us to lead the conversation today is Brad Collins, our guest speaker from LoneStar Group, who we're super grateful to have here with us here today. He is the Divisional Quality and Certification Director at LoneStar Group. Also joining us from SmartCert is our co-founder and COO, who many of you may know, Lonnie Kiefer, and then also Krista Stevens, our Client Success Manager here at SmartCert. Our agenda that we have prepared for you here today, Lonnie's going to give a quick overview of SmartCert. I know some of you are new to SmartCert, so we want to make sure you have a high-level understanding of who we are and what our mission is. Lonnie and Brad are going to talk about some of our new product features and how those are being utilized within LoneStar Cert workflows. And Brad's going to share some of his and his team's best practices with you. Lonnie's going to do a deep dive on our new product features, and she's going to specifically talk about the benefits to your business. And then Krista's going to take us into the SmartCert platform to do a demonstration of these new features. We'll close out today with Q&A, but feel free to put questions in our chat throughout our conversation today, and we will get those answered at the end of our call. And last but not least, make sure you stay until the end for next steps, because there is a chance to win a $100 gift card, which I know can come in super handy this time of year. All right, Lonnie, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Janelle. And for anyone who hasn't seen the news on LinkedIn, we welcome Janelle, I guess it's in October, as part of our team on the marketing and sales enablement side. Grateful for her participation and putting this together for all of us. As far as SmartCert goes, it's been a really incredible journey when we think about the fact that we kicked this off almost 4 years ago with the goal of getting paper out of boxes. And what we're doing today with companies like LoneStar, it's been transformational, not only for us as a team, as we've come together to build amazing new tools and support companies in transition, but it's also meant a lot from a feedback perspective as our customers have helped move the platform forward. Beyond just sending and receiving documentation, the opportunities that we really recognized as a logical next step is that internal workflow. So while there are amazing benefits at automating the delivery of certs between companies, we know that there is also a lot of impact we can make internally in processes. And I think that's really where these features shine, is to eliminate a lot of those manual steps we know companies have to deal with on the review side of receiving and documentation, but also creating certs. Those are areas of opportunity to not only eliminate tedious processes, but to really enable companies to focus on much more of the work that matters instead of living in the world of paperwork. So we are really looking forward to the conversation today, being able to not only share with you these new tools, but where SmartCert is making an impact on vendor performance, providing more data around what those relationships look like and what the opportunities are, as well as the big picture of traceability and visibility in the supply chain. We know that that is an incredible initiative amongst many different industries, and we know that those requirements are only going to increase. So being able to empower our customer base with the tools that are going to automatically provide not only the data on the certs that are coming in and going out, but the traceability that you require, your customers require, is a key piece of our future together. So Brad, looking forward to this conversation. As he was introduced as the Divisional Quality and Certification Director for the LoneStar Group, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person last month, and some of the other team members. I would love to kick off the conversation with you telling us a little bit about your background and career with Lone Star.
Yeah, sure. So I've been with the business for just over 2 years now. Um, we have two manufacturing facilities, three actually in the UK. And the two main ones are Hydrobolt and LoneStar Fasteners, which have recently merged. So our company provides bespoke engineered fasteners and components to a plethora of industries, mainly being petrochem, oil, gas, renewables, and nuclear as well. So my background, yes, I've been in this industry now for a long time, 27 years now. I've been in the nuclear, petrochem, oil and gas and manufacturing markets and supplying those market sectors. So I've had a long time to deal with the package requirements of certs. So the rule of thumb in our industry is when the certification weighs as much as the parts that you're sending out the door, you're pretty much there to ship. So we've experienced in my term here so far real challenges when it comes to certification and growth as well. So as we grow as a business, we're now the biggest company in Europe, potentially, certainly in the UK, of manufacturing fasteners to those kind of market sectors. It's a challenge for us to grow as a business, and one of the biggest bottlenecks within our business since I've been here is certification. So everything gets manufactured and everyone focuses on the manufacturing side of things, but then I have to deal with my team of cert engineers that have to get that bottleneck through. So shipping those parts out the door is one thing, but it's very, very difficult for us to still maintain on-time delivery performance when you've got cert packs that require release, 3.2 witness, 3.1 witness. So it's very difficult to substantiate throughput other than getting other certification engineers with bums on seats to actually try and get the work through.
Right. So we connected this summer, and I recall you having a fairly comprehensive spreadsheet of your short-term and long-term goals for your cert process. I'm sure there are many companies who would like to hear more about your approach and how you identified those goals and really areas of opportunity in your internal workflows.
Yeah, so what we did, I sat down with my two certification managers and said we need to identify what would be the biggest issues and where do we see the biggest, let's say, time killers. And obviously that being data entry and cert renewal and cert checking. So for me, one of the key things was to understand what we could do to simplify that. So we already had certain actions in place, which was we had cert checkers, which were, Excel spreadsheets, and we had this rudimental system of the raw material cert comes in, it checks the chemical and mechanical properties, but it just reviews it based on value. But you still need the person to review that cert, enter all the data. And, we ship probably between the two businesses on average about 7,000 to 8,000 line items a month. So when you times that by, that's cert packs for every single one, ranging from just a C of C, but right the way up to full MRB data book, including heat treatment, furnace charts, plating charts, NDE, raw material, 3.2 witness, you're talking hundreds of pages. So when we reviewed that, what we looked for and when we went out to market was somebody that could work with us, not only to give us what we've already got, but how do we progress that? So what is it that we can do to incorporate additional throughput rather than just getting additional cert engineers in? Because what we found was our response was traditionally, right, we just need more resource, and that resource was always focused on individuals. And I wanted to have a bit of a paradigm shift there, where it was a case of, well, let's not focus on the individuals, let's focus on the processes themselves, and what can we do within our remit of certs to actually look to get throughput on the process. Non-value added activities, what can we do to remove those? And if we can't get rid of that activity, okay, how do we speed that activity up? So that was the kind of processes and journey that we looked to go on, and hence our list of utopia. I think I used the term utopia in our meetings, where what we've already got, and then it was kind of, this is utopia and this is where we want to be in terms. The cert comes in, SmartCert's reviews that certs with a cert checker for us. It tells us whether the chemicals and mechanical properties are right or wrong for us. Then we just have to review whether it's green or red kind of scenario in terms of whether it's right or wrong. So straight away, that level of automation just straight away improves our process and speeds our process up. And then on the back end, what can we do in terms of merging with our ERP system, and how can we build our ERP system so that it's highlighting what's coming through to our cert engineers, and our cert engineers can then have a dashboard that links into SmartCert's, and then when they're creating the cert packs, the information is automatically populated onto one of our 3.1 documentation. So straight away, it's taking our ERP information, putting it into a SmartCert template or our template within the SmartCert system, and then they don't have to type anything. So then that alleviates the risk of typographical errors, and also focuses my team on reviewing the technical information, which is where I want them to be. I don't want them to be administrators. I want them to be cert engineers.
I love
So
that.
that was the kind of journey that we went on.
We had great conversations, and I think one of the things that we had discussed this summer was that our roadmap was aligned with your goals. And so over the last few months, we've partnered together to build these out. And I think you made a really good point about the fact that we hear from a lot of companies, well, we could, do it ourselves, but I think our commitment to Lone Star and the industry is to be able to continue to advance things. We're not only replacing systems, but we certainly want to leverage the latest tools and automation to create even more efficiencies, so that it's not a one-to-one, but we're finding more time in the day, like you said, for your engineers to do really their primary job versus the review of documentation or the manual entry that a lot of those steps require. So it's been a great starting point for us, and really, identifying the opportunity for the overall LoneStar Group. We're starting, in the weeds with Brad and teams, is building this out and optimizing it. And that's part of the feedback we also look for from other companies who are going to leverage the same tools. And this becomes the blueprint for what all of the Lone Star companies will be able to take advantage of. So it's a journey that we're delighted to participate with you on, especially because we know your goals are pretty much in sync with a lot of other companies who require that review process, who create complex certs, and really want to create more automation within those steps. One of the questions that I think, comes to mind when we have conversations with prospects is they see the same vision and goals as you, but they are paralyzed by their fear of change management and adoption. And it starts to get a little concerning these days when companies are moving very quickly into being able to take advantage of the tools that are out there. So, what advice would you give them to kind of not only get over the hump of I have to do this in order to stay competitive and, like you said, grow your business, but I also have to empower my teams to embrace change.
I would say that the biggest thing is don't go it alone. If you know that SmartCert is the right tool for you, and it is for us 100%. And I advocate anybody trying to deal with certs to certainly have a look at your system, because it's certainly beneficial, but to involve the team as well. And I think that's been a real good selling point from getting that change process implemented within our business, because I have sat back quite a lot, and you have had direct conversations with the cert engineers themselves, and it's particularly Jackie and Steve, my two cert leaders, and they have seen for themselves by being involved with that conversation and being part of the conversation. They've seen the benefits and they've seen it firsthand. And when they've been involved in the meetings with SmartCert, they're on board because they can see the benefits. And while change is scary for everybody, and especially, well, my team have been doing this for 20 odd years, and they've been doing it this way for 20 odd years. So all of a sudden to go to a web-based system and, having a look at things and going, this isn't what I'm used to. I'm used to my spreadsheet and I'm used to my template, and I'll move around. It's to get that buy-in is the key thing. And SmartCert have been really welcoming with getting multiple people involved, and me just saying I haven't had to do a lot of, I would say, you will go down the SmartCert road, because they've literally been able to see it. So my suggestion is for anyone who's trying to embrace this or look for the next step would be certainly involve the team and get the team's buy-in as well. And the system's really, really good. It sells itself in terms of why wouldn't you want to use SmartCerts for your system when you actually look at it? Because I can remember our first conversation where me and Richard had the initial conversation with you guys, and I was saying, okay, so this is what it does. And when you showed me what it actually does, and then straight away, I think I was saying, could it do this for us? And could it do that? And can it add this? And can it add that? And we were getting, yeah, we can have a look at that. Yeah, it could do that. And all of a sudden, it just started to, well, it snowballed from there. But the great thing about it was when I was repeating this to my team, they kind of was like, I don't believe that. It can really do this. It can do this. And then when they started to see it, it was, oh, okay, wow, yeah, it's there. So yeah, that would be my biggest advice. Get your teams involved and get them to buy in, and just show them the system.
Love that. So you had mentioned in a conversation, maybe it was even yesterday, that there were other aspects of SmartCert that you felt were key to your decision-making process. It provided value beyond the automation that we're talking about. Maybe you can speak a little bit about the other areas that you think will help support your business growth.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the key things for us is business continuity. So we have servers based on site, and they're backed up off site, and we have two sites within manufacturing divisions. And the great thing about SmartCert's is it solves a problem for us with business continuity activities. So most of my cert engineers have got a laptop. So God forbid the server goes down here, certs can carry on doing what they need to do. At the moment, we can't do that because everything's on our server. So yes, we've got redundancies and things like that in place for our servers, and our servers are backed up to the cloud and things like that. But using SmartCert in the way that we use it, being a web-based portal, and we go on and all of the documentation is there, from our point of view, it gives us that continuity that we can be anywhere in the world, and I can pull up cert packs by just clicking in to my login, going in, got all the information there. It's retained, it's secure on your servers, which we've done a lot of work with you on and investigated that because of our nuclear customers and the controls that we have to have with, let's say, security breaches not being an issue. Clearly, they're not. So, from our perspective, I think the business continuity aspect of SmartCert is really good because it solves a problem with if there ever were to be one, and it allows people to again work from home. The diversity of having that cert website available to us where we just go into it, and there's still synergy between that and Epical. And let's say our ERP system goes down, we can still generate certs. It's not a problem because we can go in and okay, we'll just create the certs manually. We'll drag and drop things in and create it that way. So yeah, I think that's a really, really big influential part of SmartCert as well, because some of our software is very old that we use. And you know that one of the biggest risks is if it goes down, it's the software's that old that it's not being cared for anymore. So we have to look at that, and with SmartCert you don't have that issue. So
Yeah,
it's a really important part for us in terms of business contingency and continuity.
I appreciate that. So when we think about sort of the benefits and savings, you've identified a few areas, obviously, of opportunity. What is the impact going to be on your business and the LoneStar Group in general?
Vast and large in terms of it will give us first and foremost throughput, because the engineers aren't going to be having to review basic certs because the specs that we put into SmartCert will automatically check for us. So you've got that automatic check function, which means they don't have to check basic chemical analysis as to whether it's right or wrong. SmartCert will tell us. You've got the data entry element of it, where we don't have to manually input all of the chemicals because it's automated now. So again, that extrapolation from a 3.1 cert that we receive straight away into the our own 3.1 right from the raw material cert. At the moment, we're having to type that. So again, it gives us so much more in terms of speed and accuracy. One of the biggest issues anyone will know with cert packs is typographical errors, or this has been missed, or that's not there, and we need to have this in there. Having that level of security from SmartCert where it's already there, and what the engineers then can focus on is the more technical aspects, making sure that the furnace charts read correct, that the temperatures are right. They're not having to worry about that, but also focus on, oh, did I type a 6 instead of an 8? And is that 0.03 actually 0.003? So the speed is going to be vast in terms of turnaround, because what our cert engineers do at the moment, if they turn around 10 cert packs a day, straight away we could be into an uptick of 12 to 13 just through the first stage of the not having to type and having that automation functionality there. Then in addition to that, you've got all of the checking function, you've got the merger of the PDF documents that we've got. So straight away, the power that it's going to give us all in one place is going to be really, really big. It's unparalleled when you think about the level of growth that we want, because rather than me employing another 2, 3, 4, it will get to a point where I'll have to employ more engineers. But I do believe that SmartCert will stop me from employing. If I have to employ 2 people, I now only have to employ 1 in terms of this is as slick and as quick and as precise as it needs to be, that I'm not ending up having to employ 3 engineers. I only have to employ 1.
That's great. I think of the impact we're making on the teams we're talking with now in this transition to SmartCert, and then the big picture as you're sort of again laying the blueprint for adoption across the Lone Star companies. I know the Dubai team's going to be headed to your facility to get an introduction from your team to SmartCert, and all of this becomes a great foundation for efficiencies across companies. But I think it's also a great starting point when we think about where you're going as your ERP is being upgraded, and we're really looking to automate a lot of this. Being able to get started in SmartCert certainly means that you can make a meaningful impact out of the gate, but it also, I think, helps provide a good starting point as you guys transition to more automation. You're familiar with the tools and technology. Maybe you can speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, and this is the great thing from a SmartCert perspective that we can adopt. So we're in the process of getting our ERP system to speak with SmartCert's, but until that point, we can functionality. So our certs can be dropped straight into SmartCert from our suppliers, and then they're retained in there, where our engineers can just go straight in, review it, make sure that it's right, and then bring it over to create a cert pack. And again, that can be us dragging and dropping any emails that we get, or you've got that automation of the email monitoring that SmartCert does. So straight away, rather than my engineers having to look out for a report, SmartCert will tell them and say, hey, you've got this report, it's just landed, it's linking to this job. And then when our ERP system comes on board, you've got then the automation side of things. So literally we're doing kind of like a phase 1 and a phase 2 and then a phase 3. And our phase 3, it's literally going to be very minimal amount of data entry from the cert engineer. The cert engineer is really going to be focused on updating the package, creating the package together within SmartCert and sending it out. And again, phase 4 will be getting our customers on board to actually go to the SmartCert portal, where we just upload there, and an automatic email gets pinged to our customers saying, you've just had this cert package and it's available for you to download or review. So even at phase 1, we will see gains, but phases 2, 3, 4, it's just going to develop even further to in essence, then we'll have a system that pretty much has got as automated as it can be. You're always going to need a cert engineer to review the final package, but they're focusing their time on where they need to be, which is more technical, like I said, rather than data entry or looking for certs. So I've now got this test report, or this needs to go into that pack. SmartCert will do that for them. So again, with the automation of an ERP system, it will say, oh, this has landed. It needs to go into this SmartCert package. There it is. And from a raw material cert point of view, okay, I've allocated this raw material cert to this job. I've already reviewed it, and then it lands into that cert package. But again, it's like one of the biggest in phase 1, which is what we've got now. The kind of one of the biggest benefits that we have will be having one raw material cert that's been tested to multiple standards, and we can put it in SmartCert's. So in one hit, you'll be able to see a raw material cert and all of the different standards that we've tested that material against. That's such a powerful thing for us, because we don't have that. What we have to do is retain individual test reports and then look and say, has this been tested against that, and so on and so forth. Now, SmartCerts can give us that functionality where you click on a raw material cert and it says it's already been checked against all these standards and it's good to go. So straight away, they don't have to review that raw material cert against a standard that's already been checked, whereas at the moment we do.
Thank you. That your examples are really helpful because I think as a technology team, we can be advocates for what the industry is leading us to and the features we're developing. But your examples, I think, are a really powerful application of how companies are leveraging our tools and the partnerships that we're creating. So we're incredibly grateful for your time today, for your participation, for your trust, and for your partnership. And we really look forward to continuing to build out the future with you.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. Can't
Thanks,
wait. The
Brad.
sooner the better.
All right. So as we talk about our new tools, which Krista will be putting into action, just wanted to make a quick introduction on what these new features offer. You've heard Brad speak to them, and we know many companies have similar challenges as it relates to the time it takes to not only get certs in, but go through the review process in a way that's going to make a meaningful impact on those initial steps. So one of the big opportunities that companies are taking advantage of, and instead of waiting for their suppliers to join the network, and I believe we're at 2,200 companies now, so we continue to make an impact every day as our network grows. But there's no need to wait for your suppliers to join the network in order to take advantage of that overview process and create a centralized dashboard of all of your supplier certs. So being able to monitor an email that your suppliers are sending certs to automatically leverages our cert intelligence and extracts the kind of data that supports that review process. So adding in your industry specifications, your cert requirements, maybe customer requirements, and being able to flag the certs that are in conformance, data fields that require oversight and review. I think that's a great area of opportunity and a nice application of the fact that we've really already identified how we can power more for each cert package as they're being received. So can't wait to see this in action in just a few minutes. Our centralized chat. So we talk a lot about our partnership with Microsoft as they are an investor in our platform and our company in partnership with the Green Bay Packers, which hopefully you're all tuning in tonight for some excellent football. We have obviously at our disposal an amazing amount of tools that Microsoft is offering companies. And one of that is chat. So if you think about the Teams chat that we are all probably very familiar with, as we're thinking about creating a standard receiving process or standardizing the delivery of certs to customers, it made a lot of sense. Our head of technology identified an area where we could eliminate an email chain, that's sitting in someone's inbox, or even the delays associated with the questions, that you may need clarification on. So as these certs come in, not only can you review them against specifications, if something's out of conformance or you have a question, you could ask your supplier directly on that cert package. Support versioning history if updates are required, but maybe there's a question between procurement and sales. Leveraging that internal chat also should reduce the delays and the communication that everyone seems to be waiting on. And I think it's a great advancement of what we're offering and the ability to kind of keep all the conversations on the certs themselves. We also heard about merging, and certainly with complex cert requirements, receiving in multiple certs from different suppliers that ultimately mean one cert package for a specific part or customer, that can get a bit challenging in the steps that are currently required by companies. When we think about the data we're extracting from each of those certs, the ability to review that, but the power of that data also means that you could be using all of it to generate ultimately the cert that you need to create. But there's also the piece of it to be able to combine SmartCerts and combine documents. And that's a great advancement of our PDF processing tools that companies can take advantage of. We have a great system right now to package line items together. I think that there's been a lot of companies who have created, 400-page cert packages that represent a shipment. And I think our SmartCert package feature enables companies to create cert packages for each line item, but bundle them in a way that's going to obviously be beneficial to them because they can resend the same certs to multiple customers, but extremely beneficial to their customers who aren't going to have to print out that cert package and walk around the conference table in order to separate that. So when we think about the power of bringing certs together for a complete cert package and then packaging each of the line items together, I think that's one of the revolutionary offerings that our platform is providing. Cert creation, I think this is the one we are the most excited for. Brad had mentioned keying in a lot of chemical and physical data. We know that that is a consistent challenge for many, many companies, regardless of if you're in manufacturing or distribution. If you are required to generate a cert for customer shipments, it's probably in a PDF fillable template or a Microsoft Word document, and it requires a lot of time. So when we think of, again, returning to the way you're receiving inserts and generating data, we want to be able to eliminate those keystrokes and human errors and really start to bring together the ability to automatically generate the certs that are required of you for your customer shipments. So I think that's the culmination of the internal workflows that we are looking to provide efficiencies on. And I get to turn it over to Krista to bring this all to life for you.
Thanks, Lonnie. Let me share my screen. And I will be providing a demo for you guys of how to build a SmartCert package for your customer. Prior to doing that, though, I just wanted to give a brief overview of the dashboards that are available in platform. For those of you who are not familiar, we have our created dashboard, which creates a centralized repository for your team and represents your company's inventory. So allowing your team members that quick access to find the certs they need by utilizing our search bar. And any of this information you see here is searchable for them. The received dashboard represents your supplier certs. As Lonnie mentioned, we have a cool new feature now that allows you to approve or request revisions on certs that you've received. So keeping that communication tied to the SmartCert is helpful. The request dashboard functions similar in that if you have missing documents, you can reach out to your suppliers utilizing that feature, as well as request revisions to certs that you've received. The import dashboard represents the ability to drag and drop. So if you're still receiving paper certs from suppliers and you have somebody scanning those into your folder, you can manually import those into SmartCert. And what that's going to do is scan the PDF itself with our OCR technology and index that data for you and create a SmartCert automatically. The layouts dashboard allows you to choose the cert data you want to view on your dashboard. So you're able to organize that information, whether you're reviewing compliance or you're creating certs for your customers. That is where you're able to build out industry part or customer specs. So if you think about receiving certs in, you can check the compliance on those, as well as utilize this to auto-populate that information into the certs you create for your customers. And before I go into this demo, I will share that the steps that I take can be automated if your company chooses to integrate into an ERP or QMS system. So dashboard. And I will select my most recent cert from my supplier Latkin Industry. You can see here that I have detailed information on the left-hand side. And because I receive certs from this supplier often, I do have a pre-built specification that I'm going to use to run a compliance check on. So I've selected this from my drop-down, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the check compliance button. And you can see here that most of this is green, but I do have an element that looks to be red. So I'm going to view the PDF so I can check against what's been received. And if I go over, it looks like the copper is in conformance. So I just need to make a slight adjustment to that field. So I'll close this and I'm going to let my supplier know that the certs have been approved. And now I'm going to utilize the PDF and the information that I've received and start building a SmartCert package for my customer. So with this, you're able to select certain data that you want. I don't need any of the data that's in this first section as that's specific to my company, but I do want to merge in all of this chemical analysis information as that's going to help build my SmartCert, in addition to the mill cert itself. I'm also going to come up and apply a lot number, so I'm able to find that in my inventory. And then I'm going to hit save. So now I have a SmartCert with my lot number and the mill cert and the information that's going to be helpful in creating my SmartCert. As mentioned, the import dashboard allows you to take what's been received via paper, or you can grab it from your folder. I have two more PDFs that I want to add to that SmartCert package. So I'm going to come over here and manually upload. I have a heat treat cert and an inspection report. So I will grab those. And what this is doing now is it's taking those PDFs and our OCR is scanning the information and indexing data. From there, it's going to automatically create that SmartCert for us, which can be viewed from the import dashboard. So it's captured that information. I'm going to go ahead and open up the inspection report, and you can see the resulting SmartCert here. So we'll take this information, review it against what's been received. So as I'm creating my SmartCert for my customer, I have seen that it's pulled out the description for me, which is great because I want to include that information in my cert. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I'm going to be merging this document into that existing SmartCert that I've already created with that lot number that I've assigned. So I'll select that from this drop down, and you can see that that information on the left is populated for me. And because I only want to take this description, I'm just going to quickly copy and paste this into the description field below, because that's the only piece of data that I want from this section. Again, I don't want to merge any of this information, but I do want to grab the inspection report. So I'm going to go ahead and merge that in. And now I have a SmartCert that has the mill cert and the inspection report. So I'll save that. And as I mentioned previously, when you import certs to your dashboard, you can grab them from the import, or you can grab them from the created dashboard. Let this load. All right, so now I have the heat treat cert that I need to include. So I have the details here. I'm going to pull up the PDF itself and review that against what has been received. And it looks like that's good. So I can close this document. And again, I'm going to merge that into the existing SmartCert based on the lot number that I created. All right, so on this heat treat, I don't need to merge any of the information, but again, I do want to grab that document for my customer. All right, so I actually ship to this customer quite often. So one of the cool things that I mentioned with specifications is you can utilize that to help fill in the certs that you create. And because I send to this customer often, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pre-built specification, which is going to help populate the information that I need. So I'll just click the check compliance button, and that's not really checking against anything, but it is helping fill out the information on the left-hand side. So you can see that that's been populated here. The next thing I need to do is add in a PO for my customer, as well as the sales order number. And all of that information is looking good. So now I'm able to create my cert based on what I've received from suppliers in all three of those documents. So on the left-hand side, I have my quality management report, and you can see that all of this information has been filled in for me based on all of that merging of the data. I do want to add in the ordered quantity, so I can do that quickly, as well as add my signature. So I'm just going to type in my first and last name and hit done. One of the last things I want to do is I want to rename this document because I'm going to merge all of these together. So I'm going to include my customer's company name as well as their PO number. And you can see that automatically that's reflected on the left-hand side. From here, I'm going to select to merge all of these PDFs together to create that final cert package for my customer. So I'm going to select in order of how I'd like those to be represented. And then I will hit the merge and replace button. And now I have a PDF that represents all three of those documents. And if I come over here and hit the bookmark, I can see that those are represented here and in what order I now have the ability to view those. After I have checked everything and I've done all of those steps, I'm going to save the SmartCert because now I'm ready to share it with my customer. And I'm just going to do a quick refresh. And we'll see the customer name listed here. So this represents that final package. To share this with my customer, I'm going to click on the arrow, which will then open this box. And once you've completed this process, it's going to give you a timestamp of when it was shared and also some insight into who's viewed it. So if you're sharing this with your customer, you'll be able to see exactly when and who it was viewed by. That actually completes my demo, so I will open it up to any Q&A at this point. For any of you who might have some questions, feel free to type them in the chat and we'll get those answered for you.
We did have a couple questions come through directly to the panelists, so we could get started there. And then if there's additional questions that you all have, you can feel free to send them directly to us panelists if you want to remain anonymous, or you can put them in the group chat as well. So the first question is for Lonnie, which is, what are the upcoming challenges on the cybersecurity front? Does SmartCert help companies prepare for CMMC requirements for direct government contracts?
This is a great question, and it's very timely as we've moved over, are moving over to the government cloud. So our Our customer base has spoken, and that's another area of growth for us, is to expand into the government cloud to not only check the box on CMMC and ITAR and DFAR requirements, but to also provide a higher level of visibility and traceability in the cert packages that are powering secure supply chains and military and defense contractors.
Awesome. All right, another question for you, Lonnie. What is the best use case for SmartCert given the new features? Can a company use it as a gatekeeper for cert packages before they're physically shipped?
Yes to all of the above. I think what we talk about is deciding where you want to get started. You know, Brad had identified multiple areas of opportunity, and whether that's using SmartCert for one aspect of that. The supplier side, to me, is our greatest opportunity to be able to have more control, oversight, and also automation. So there are companies who are leveraging these tools in a way that will prohibit their suppliers from shipping product until the certs have been received and reviewed. So being able to standardize the receipt of those certs, to automate the review of those with our conformance review, and then to communicate directly to suppliers when certs are approved, or if there's an issue, could greatly reduce quarantined parts and a lot of the challenges on the paperwork side of things for receiving in parts from your supplier base.
Great. Krista, this one's for you. How do we get started and how do we learn more about the features we saw today? I want to make it easy for my team to use it to its full value if we move to a paid subscription with SmartCert.
Great question. The first thing that we do is we kind of walk through what you guys are currently doing in your cert process now. With that, we build out a workflow that's going to make the most sense within SmartCert, utilizing the new tools that are available. So we do that in a couple training sessions with your team. And we can break it out into different departments as well. So if we think about quality, we train them separately because they do have different roles within the platform. And then we can get into training the sales department and sharing those certs with customers. So yeah, if anybody is wanting to schedule some time, I'm happy to review the new tools in a one-on-one training with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Krista. Last question, and this could go to any three of you. How does SmartCert benefit a smaller company? Is it expensive?
Well, I think the beauty of the platform is it is one size fits all. It is based on your volume. So whether you are a mom and pop shop that wants to automate more because you have focused on more time to grow your business, or if you are a global organization like LoneStar, we can help. And I think being able to use this off the shelf to achieve a lot of your goals in the short term, and then working into any kind of integration with your ERP is certainly what some of our customers take advantage of. But I think from a cost perspective, it's usually quite surprising how inexpensive this is. I think it's $100 to create 100 SmartCerts per month at a starting point. And that's also a great pilot starting point. If you wanted to work, through a workflow, create that with Krista, and then put it into action before you make the transition. We want everybody to be comfortable and confident. That's a great way to get started, whether that's a single team or a location before approaching it across your other business units.
Great. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I think we're good to close out our webinar for today. One second. Next steps. So if you want a more personalized demonstration of what these new features can do for you and your business, we are more than happy to facilitate that. We would love to facilitate that for you. You can sign up on our website or you can reach out to our client success team directly and we'll get that set up for you and your team. Second, I told you there was a chance to win a $100 gift card. So if you follow SmartCert on LinkedIn and also repost a post that I'm going to share with you in our follow-up email where we send out the recording from today, you will be entered for a chance to win that $100 gift card. Lonnie and Krista, is there anything else that you want to share out with our attendees before we close out today?
I don't think I have anything extra.
All right.
Nope.
We'll
I'm
get
just
you guys.
I was just gonna say thank you, Brad, for participating today. I believe your insights and your thoughts regarding where the industry is going, where you can take advantage of technology was greatly appreciated.
No problems. Happy to attend.
Yes, thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you to all of our attendees. And feel free to reach out to us directly with feedback or questions concluding today. And we look forward to talking to all of you soon. Happy holidays and have a great weekend. Thank you.